Chris Gore got the knowledge in store. Oh yeah, Alan Lang, watch him talk up the fire. Movie and TV show reviews what you need. Film threats on fire, we're planting the seeds. Film threat, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the phone, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3.
Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Chris Gore. This is Film Threat. Today on the show, turn that down, lots of film reviews, breaking news. We're going to talk about, oh my God, we have so many movies to talk about. Let's go. We are talking Fight or Flight. Lots of other movies here, a big list of movies. Somehow the list went away. I don't know what happened to that, but we're talking Clown. We're also talking to Clown in a Cornfield director, Eli Craig. He is the director of Tucker and Dale versus Evil. He'll be talking to us on the show. Alan Ng is here. Your comments and questions. Let's go. Let's start the show. Let's see if Alan's even, did he make it? Don't see him. What the heck? I don't know.
Mr. Gore, who the heck is Alan? And you want me to say what? Okay, cool. Alan.
What's happening, man?
I'm here. Hey, I'm tired. I've seen way too many movies this week.
Same. There was a list of movies that we're covering in the document. Somehow they went away. I don't know where they are.
What do you mean?
So I don't know what we're doing. Well, there you go.
That's right there. I see it.
I don't see it in the document.
It is. I see it right in the document.
Well, I'll refresh.
I'm looking at it right now. It's right there.
Under Friday, May 9th.
It's on the bottom of page 2.
Oh, well, there you go. You highlighted it for me. Thank you so much. So
you complain about me talking about what you're doing.
I am doing that. By the way, there are some good movies this week.
Yeah, actually, surprisingly, there are some good and bad movies this week.
There's some good and bad movies. And you know what? There are good, bad movies. And that's not like what constitutes a good, bad movie. Like, did I have fun during the movie? I know it's bad. I'm enjoying it. It's kind of like fast food.
Yeah, and it has to be unintentional.
Which I'm loath to admit, I drunkenly, because I went to the info list pre-Cannes Film Festival soiree last night. It's this swanky event with everyone from there were celebrities, big and small, and I was one of the small. So there you go. But on the way home, I stopped by a McDonald's and I got myself a Minecraft Happy Meal. Just because, like, I want a little fast food. I don't want to eat like something big, but I want a limit. It's like a little taste of fries, a tiny burger, and then I just throw away the toy. I also get the apple slices because I like the health. What are we doing? Let's go to comments here and see who's here. Ready, Alan?
Yeah. Jeremiah Hembry became a YouTube member.
Thank you for that.
Sin's Corner, Fight or Flight was past Monday's mystery movie at Regal. That's when I saw it. It was over the top and hilarious, and I enjoyed it despite some of the flaws. Feel similarly about Clown in a Cornfield.
Well, that's how you feel. Well, how do Alan and I feel? You should stick around and find out.
Nick XH. I miss seeing fun bad movies, not gonna lie.
Well, there are some fun bad movies that we will discuss.
The Nerd Far Away. One of my favorite good bad movies is Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. Was that a bad movie?
That qualifies.
Does it?
Qualifies.
Yeah,
it does.
I thought it was actually good.
Yeah. Qualifies.
I thought it was a good movie.
Well, there you go. And then also here from Lord Thoth.
Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, sign up as a member, join us on X, Discord, Rumble, and Instagram. Buy our merch at shop.filmthreat.com.
And we have summer Film Threat tank top. We've got, what are these new designs? We have Camp Film Threat with a stack of VHS tapes. I love this one. I'm going to get them all, Alan. And we have the Film Threat staff. I think this is your son, right?
Yes. A Project Egg Roll.
Yeah, Project Egg Roll, Alan's son modeling our Camp Film Threat shirt. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, look
Hey,
at
he's
that.
working out.
I
He's
know.
working out. I love
Just
that.
like his dad.
Just like his dad. And then we've got Film Threat beach towels. Look at this. What's behind this? There is someone behind this. I hope they have clothes on.
I think it's my daughter.
Yeah,
There you go.
well, she never shows her face. And then a Film Threat special design celebrating the 50th anniversary of Jaws for a limited time, a Film Threat Jaws inspired, shark inspired beach towel. Go to shop.filmthreat.com for that. Now,
By the way, I should mention I've been on Discord every day this week. So, if you want to get a hold of me or have a conversation, I'm back on Discord.
well, there you go.
Yep.
I will visit Discord in the future. Guess what? The Superman hype is beginning. That's right, Alan. Superman opens July 11th in theaters, in wide release, right before Comic-Con. It's gonna get a lot of attention. Let's just say that. But the hype has begun with, guess what? Dairy Queen. That's right. May 26th, for a limited time, you go to Dairy Queen and get a Superman meal. What is in the meal, Alan? And will you be reviewing it?
I possibly can. Why'd you drop it?
Well, because I'm going to show you what's in the meal.
Okay. All
For
right.
$7, you can get a Superman meal that includes fries, a cheeseburger, some sort of ice cream dessert, and a soda for $7. Also, or you can get the sauced and tossed buffalo chicken strip basket with fries and chicken strips and a drink. Comes with dessert for $7, and it comes also with Superman branded cup. I think you'll just throw away the cup. I don't know what makes this Superman, but one thing I like about seeing this promo, it doesn't say James Gunn on it. I don't know
what
exactly.
great work James Gunn had done.
Yes, well, the
James
James Gunn Superman super meal. I don't know what the James Gunn meal would be, but this is the DC Studios Superman meal deal for $7. It's not a bad deal. It's Superman related. I could be interested.
All right.
Could be interested. Alan, will you do a review of the Superman meal from DQ?
Okay, so there is a DQ near me. I don't know if it's still open because I haven't been there in years. But if it's open, I will do it.
There is a DQ at the mall that will probably be out of business soon in Burbank that also has an AMC, the 8, the Burbank 8. And in that mall is a Dairy Queen. I will go and for members only, I will eat the meal and give you my review of the meal. Alan, will you do the same?
I will. I just got word that it's closed permanently.
Well, the DQ at the mall in Burbank is open. So if you come to Burbank, next time you come to Burbank, we will get the meal after May 26th. So, okay.
They are closed.
Is that
All
real?
of them are closed near me. Okay.
Oh my God. So, hey, more superhero news. Did you know that Ironheart's Dominique Thorne got 2 thumbs up from Robert Downey Jr.? Did you know that, Alan?
I saw a tweet about it. Yes.
Yes. Well, Ironheart is going to be released. It's at the end of June, I believe June 24th, from Empire. Ironheart's Dominique Thorne got 2 thumbs up from Robert Downey Jr. RDJ. Alan, give me the whole gist of this story.
Sure. 17 years after Robert Downey Jr. first brought Tony Stark to life and launched the Marvel Cinematic Universe, his influence continues to shape its future heroes. As the franchise prepares to introduce Ironheart, a series centered on teen genius Riri Williams, who builds her own Iron Man-inspired suit, Downey's legacy looms large. but it's not just his on-screen legacy that matters. It's his personal endorsement that adds a layer of meaning to the new chapter. Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri, shared that after filming Wrapped, she spoke with Downey, who offered heartfelt encouragement and support. He shared some very lovely words about my journey, she recalls. He told me how excited he was and that he's rooting for it too. I literally got 2 thumbs up. That simple gesture from the original Iron Man was more than just approval. It was a symbolic passing of the torch.
Well, there you go. I'm a little suspicious about this from the standpoint of we haven't seen a trailer yet. We saw a tease as part of a roundup of upcoming Disney Plus shows, but there is not a full trailer for this show. I've heard some things about it. I have not heard that it's good.
Do we know if it's going to go weekly or is it going to be dumped at one time?
We do not know that. The release plan is not set, just that it debuts on Disney Plus June 24th. They may, like Echo, drop the whole thing at once. I think that would be wise in the lead up to FF, which opens 1 month later. So June 24th, Ironheart, July 25th, I believe, is Fantastic Four, which is the week of Comic-Con, by the way, in San Diego. So that will tee up Marvel's, whatever Marvel will do in Hall H. So we shall see. I have really not a lot of faith in this. I think the fact that it's been so long delayed tells you something, and the pivot we've heard. But this year is the transition year for Marvel from what they were, from one road they were going down, almost like the multiverse of Marvel projects, right?
Yeah.
They were going down one road, but they changed to another timeline. Marvel's trying to pivot to a different timeline. This is part of the old timeline of Marvel. So
Kang.
Kang. Yeah, was part of that. So
but let's get to this headline here. Got 2 thumbs up from Robert Downey Jr. What was Robert Downey Jr. supposed to do?
Right.
What? Was he supposed to tell her, no, I'm Iron Man? You're just a cheap knockoff of me. Can you imagine if he had said this? How much respect we would have for Robert Downey Jr.?
Well, I don't think that's look, he's a team player. I wouldn't say that. I would be supportive. She's on the Marvel team. I just say, hey, good luck.
But the thing is this comment, I mean, okay, what was he supposed to say?
Right.
It's meaningless because it's like, your daughter, your child draws a picture, says, what do you think? It looks great. This is a masterpiece. That's what you have to say.
It's like when any woman asks you, does this make me look fat? And you say no and give 2 thumbs up. That's the correct way. You never, what you do is you be a cheerleader.
Yeah.
So
and clearly no one in Disney is going to say anything negative about Ironheart. I mean, they'll probably get fired if they do, but the truth will not come out. Ultimately, when it comes out, we'll know whether it's good or bad.
Well, speaking of people saying the truth, even if they say it maybe accidentally, Bob Iger says Thunderbolts is first and best example of Marvel's new movie strategy. So, what is this about? In a way, he's complimentary of Thunderbolts, while kind of admitting indirectly that that Marvel has not been doing well. Alan, I got the story here from Variety. Would you give us the synopsis of the story?
The story comes from a candid investor call. Bob Iger acknowledged the company's recent struggles with its film slate, attributing the inconsistent success, particularly with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to overemphasize on quality over quantity in a post-pandemic era. Iger admitted that in the rush to supply content for Disney Plus, the studio pushed too much production, stretching creative teams thin and diluting the brand's strength. The MCU, once a near guaranteed box office dominance, has seen a series of underwhelming releases. However, Iger pointed to the recent release of Thunderbolts as a turning point. The film was met with strong critical and an audience reception, signaling a positive shift in Disney's new quality over quantity strategy. He called it the first and best example of Marvel's renewed focus and hinted at its significance by revealing that its titular team will evolve into the new Avengers, setting up for Avengers Doomsday in 2026.
Yeah, again, this whole we lost focus by making too much. That was your decision. Notice that there's no accountability.
Right.
And no accountability at all. And on that note, I'll bring up another story that kind of relates from our friends at That Park Place. Emmy host Nate Bargatze rips Bob Iger in blistering Disney comment. That guy doesn't care about the audience. Have you ever seen his stand-up?
I saw him on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's very common sense guy. Very common sense. That guy doesn't care about the audience. I mean, that's true. That's true. I don't know if we have the video of this comment, but that's the crux of it. Alan, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
What do I think? Again, what's he supposed to say? He's the head of the studio. It's like if a movie head had said, "Hey, The Flash is a really good movie." That's they can't say anything negative. They can't be honest. You mentioned it. He looks at the past failures and doesn't take accountability for it. And we talked about this on Monday. Yeah, it got critical acclaim. It did well at the box office, but it underperformed. It made less than $100 million opening weekend. And I can tell you that I was looking at my theater seats for Thunderbolts, pretty sparse.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like the IMAX
weekend.
Yeah, yesterday the 7:00 IMAX maybe had 6 people in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's crazy.
There were more people wanting to see Clown in a Cornfield than Thunderbolts.
That's good. I can't wait to talk to Clown in the Cornfield director.
Yeah.
In more superhero news, you won't believe this, Alan. Fantastic Four First Steps. There's that little sting should tell you. There's reshoots. What's this about? I'll bring up the story, but if you would bring
I don't believe I have a I don't
well,
have
this comes from X. So let's in the Daily Mail. I'll share the story here. I don't know if we should be concerned about this. There's always sort of this is from Fantastic Four updates, F4 updates. Julia Garner as Shalabal on the set of the Fantastic Four First Steps for additional photography in Los Angeles, and she's wearing some
saran wrap.
Is this like a flashback of her as Shalabal? I don't know what.
Can you blow that up?
I'll blow it up for you, and then I'll go to the story. Yeah. Let's see. Let me zoom in here, and we'll take a good look.
Picture? Will the picture come up if you?
I could click the picture. Also, I can do all those things.
Yeah, there you go.
What? That looks like some space. That looks dumb. I like the actress too. I saw her in Wolfman, but she's known for other stuff. I don't know. I mean, we'll go to the story here in a second, but should we be concerned, Alan, about this?
I mean, shouldn't she be in a jumpsuit with ping pong balls on them?
Usually ping pong balls on a jumpsuit, like sort of black jumpsuit. I think that would be a good costume actually for Comic-Con. But here she is next to real Silver Surfer, Norn Rad. So you can see the resemblance.
I know. Norn Rad really should wear earrings.
Yeah. I don't know that we should be concerned. I don't know if it's reshoots so much as pickups. Maybe they needed some epilogue for a character. I don't know. are you concerned now? I mean, look, I'm concerned only based on what I've seen of that movie, but not based on reshoots. I feel like that's normal for Hollywood these days. It's nice to have the luxury of being able to afford to pay for reshoots.
Yeah, I'm entering this movie with the idea of I hope it's better than everything I see or know about this film so far. And this doesn't move the needle, but it doesn't make me feel hopeful for the film at all.
Let's go to comments now that we've talked a lot of superhero stuff to death here. We got a lot of supers here.
All right, M for 2, a fun bad movie. Zombie ass toilet of the dead is a must.
M, I've seen the movie. We can't show the trailer because there is a woman's butt in the trailer, and there is a woman going on the toilet. Thank you, M.
C Black for 199. Jack Schreier is the X-Men director of Thoughts. I believe he is in contention as the X-Men director.
Yes, that yes, Jack Schreier from the Thunderbolts director is being considered as the X-Men director of the first X-Men film. No details, rumors, and I guess they're happy with what he did. So
yeah, I mean, nothing screams X-Men than empathy.
Yeah, well, you're right.
Von Max for 10. Shadow Force had a lot of. Oh yeah, we should probably save this for Shadow Force.
Okay, yeah. I'll get to some other soups here.
Brandon Powell for 199. How can this be a passing of the torch if RDJ is back?
Well, exactly. And I suspect that RDJ will actually play Tony Stark, a variant version of himself.
Yeah, remember when Jay Leno was supposed to retire, but he didn't retire? And
yeah,
that's the situation. C Black for 199. Coogler directed Ironheart.
I don't know that he did. I don't know.
Here, let me look.
We'll look that up, but let's keep going. We're on a tight schedule today, Alan.
Yeah. Okay. Thomas Pickett for 5. I wonder how many men it took to make just the Ironheart costume. Yeah, we're supposed to believe a girl child built an actual Iron Man from Iron Man mech suit. Yeah, I hope women are the ones who designed the armor.
Yes,
that'd be a brave, bold move. Krog based for 20 Swedish krona. Who is prettier, Bella Ramsey or Adam Pearson?
Well, that's easy. Adam. Right, Alan?
Yes. Thomas Pickett for 2. DEI alert on Fantastic Four has been set to orange. The DEI alert.
Yeah, orange alert.
By the way, Ryan Coogler is not directing any of the episodes of Ironheart.
Yeah.
William for 10. But can you guess the gender of the directors of Ironheart?
Are they all women?
They are. Well, there's 2, and yes, they're both women. All right, William for 10. Collider has an article about Thunderbolts being one of the 100 highest grossing superhero films ever. I could only laugh while reading it. 100 movies is not setting a high bar to get on the list.
Yeah, William, that's like 100 superhero movies. I don't know. Could I name 100?
Yeah, my guess is there's 93.
Probably name 50. I don't know about 100, unless you include things like Meteor Man.
Yeah, I'm saying there's probably 93, and that's how it made the top 100.
Yeah.
M for 2. Godzilla versus Kong Supernova is in production.
I like it.
All right.
Oh yeah. Okay. Next. Sorry about that.
Here we go. Marco CCS 65. They should call it James Gunn's Ironheart.
It would do better.
Or better yet, they would call it Ryan Coogler's Ironheart. Ryan White for 5 Canadian. Chris, you said a while ago to Alan that you're a man of your word. So where is season 2 of The Acolyte? You promised us. When is it dropping?
I can't tell you when it's dropping, but I'm telling you it's happening. To my right here are action figures that will be used in the series. We've done stop motion tests, so it will happen. I'm not making any announcements, but if I do, it'll be a bunch of chairs with names on it. So it's going to happen. But
can't wait for that.
Patience. progress, not perfection. That's our motto. Thank you, Ryan.
C Black for 499. I think the picture of Garner is from Shala Ball, Home Planet. Zenla, Nornrad is Fantastic Four. I believe we said
Nornrad might be in
Nornrad might be in.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Why would they do that? Joe
Yeah.
Chapman, we don't need torch passing. Iron Man is a one-off, not a mantle.
Yeah, I'm not down with the mantle. That's how you get dumb things like Bat Family or Shazam Family or Superman Family, where there's like dogs and other characters that, it's like everyone wants to put themselves into being Superman or Batman. That's how you get Batmite, which if James Gunn's going to go goofy, Batmite might be in Brave and the Bold at this point.
So what did you think of Dino Mutt?
I thought it was dumb.
Yeah. Or Scrappy Doo.
Yeah, not a Scrappy Doo fan.
All right. Davina Duckworth, I question RDJ's objectivity. I think he was put up to it.
Yeah, I think so too. Hey, Mission Impossible, the final Mission Impossible movie is coming out. Apparently, it's almost 3 hours. Did you know that? Yeah, and I believe, are we seeing it Monday? I think we're seeing it Monday.
Oh, yeah. Either Monday or next Monday.
Yeah, Alan and I will be seeing it soon. But guess what? Tom Cruise, and this is from Tom Cruise on X. He is visiting theaters and just saying hi to people. Let's see what he has to say on his Tom Cruise X account.
Hi, everyone. On May 22nd, I'm coming to the great state of Texas, and I'll be visiting Fort Sam Houston and San Antonio before stopping by some theaters to see you at some of the first screenings of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Then we're going to fly to Dallas, where I'm going to get some delicious barbecue before going to more theaters to say hello, and I can't wait. We'll see you at the movies.
You might get a surprise appearance from Tom Cruise at your theater. Do you think, I wonder if it's possible to find out like which theaters? What do you think?
No, because then they would sell out and no one would be able to see the movie and see him. It becomes a spectacle. Now it's got to be a surprise.
I like this. I love this. And first of all, by the way, we are fortunate to be in California, where the AMC Burbank 16. I have seen many screenings there where The Rock showed up for Black Adam. He introed the movie. Chris Hemsworth showed up for Mad Max Furiosa. That was great. So I have been to a screening where an actor has showed up, just surprised, just say, hey, hi, I saw one of the Jackass movies and the cast came and introed the movie. So I like this. It really shows connecting with fans. It's about getting people out to theaters. And if you live in that, he's going to Texas during the opening weekend. That is pretty awesome.
Yeah. He'll never come to Your Belinda.
Well, Your Belinda could be on the tour.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, I think the 6 people in that theater would go nuts if he showed up. Yeah.
Now, we can never talk about tariffs enough. We just can't. And Trump had some comments on the Hollywood and tariffs recently. We have a queued up video just to give you kind of an update of what's going on. I think it's important that we continue to stay on top of this. So here we go.
Special because of the importance of the location. I have no doubt they'll do a special job. Yeah, please.
Can you explain a little bit about how you would implement tariffs on the film industry, kind of how that would work?
Well, that's a different story, but our film industry has been decimated by other countries taking them out, and also by incompetence, like in Los Angeles. The governor is a grossly incompetent man. He's just allowed it to be taken away from, Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't do very much of that business. They have the nice sign and everything's good, but they don't do very much. A lot of it's been taken to other countries, and a big proportion. And I'm actually going to meet with some because, there's some advantages, I guess, and I'm not looking to hurt the industry. I want to help the industry. But they're given financing by other countries. They've given a lot of things. And the industry was decimated. If you look at how little is done in this country now, you think we were the ones. We used to do 100 not long ago, 100%. Now we do almost like very little. It's shocking. Are you in that business too? Because he's in so many businesses. You could explain it, but it's not a good situation. So we're going to meet with the industry. I want to make sure they're happy with it because we're all about jobs. That's all what it's very important. It's a big industry, but it's an industry now that's it's really left. It's abandoned the USA where it started, and we'll get it back. Yeah, please.
Thanks, Mr. President.
Yeah, that was it.
Thank you for letting us in here. I'm with Zero Hedge in the last administration.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that? I mean, look, I think Trump's heart is in the right place. He wants to bring production back to the States.
Yeah.
And
it's a double-edged sword here.
I believe the option. I watched a video by Drinker, and he put it, tariffs is like the nuclear option. You don't use it. You don't use that weapon, tariff, but you can threaten it, even go a little bit, and then you're trying to mold behavior. So I get what he's saying, and I just hope it wakes the industry up to. We had Jim Agnew on the show on Wednesday dropping truth bombs, and a lot of it is the unions are you should see the comments on Wednesday's videos and clips from that. They're all over with people calling out the unions for acting like a crime family, demanding getting a taste for everything you do. And one of the tricks people said they do is they fill out a location form and give the wrong address. So the union won't show up and ask for extra money for to have a guy stand here for $450. And it's like a shakedown. The unions have become a shakedown, and that's driven production out of LA, out of California. You read the comments for those videos from Wednesday and the clips that were made from that.
We should probably read them next Wednesday.
We should read them. We will do that. But Alan, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, like I said, it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, as you say, it's impossible now to film in LA without your production budget going overrun. And that's why he goes to Jim went to Kentucky and Mississippi to film, because it was cheaper there. You didn't have the union kind of breathing down your back and wanting their cut. At the same time, to Trump's point, we shouldn't be exporting Hollywood films outside of the United States because it's not that, you could do it for locations, things like that. But I think his point is that other countries are offering such great incentives that it makes it, overly attractive. And this is government manipulation when you do the tax incentives, when you do all the financing. A country does that versus a business doing it. And so I think he wants to balance that out. But it's so complicated. I remember in the 80s and 90s, it was the thing everyone was shooting their television shows in Vancouver. And so, there's a long history of this. And, I mentioned on Monday, what I appreciate about what Trump is doing is he's starting the conversation, and that we just need to hash this thing out so we understand what is happening and how is impacting not only our country, but the other countries as well.
Well, shining a light on the problem is the first step toward fixing it. And it needs to be fixed because a lot of people in the business are hurting. I have a treat before we'll go to your comments and then do our reviews, but I have a treat. We have seen Working Man. We have seen Beekeeper. Did you know there's a movie called The Gardener? That's right. The Gardener stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as the gardener. And who does he play? A gardener.
Right.
And it's an action movie, and he's fighting with garden tools, and they are lethal. Should we watch the trailer, Alan?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's watch it. Here we go.
The list is ready. Only 5 names this year. You've got 48 hours tops.
Consider it done.
A list of names?
Yes.
Including mine?
Sure.
Watch out!
So why am I the last one?
I love plans.
I love plans.
Those plans never come planned. They leave, they grow, they die, but they never come planned.
Oh my god. Stepping on the flowers.
Oh, yeah, that was a mistake.
That pissed him off. Oh god.
Mr. Search. Mr. Search.
There's got to be something with the leaf
It's a list
blower.
of certain individuals that the Prime Minister might be entitled to eliminate in the name of national security. I'm going to ask you to help.
Oh my god. Think of it, all the weapons, a weed whacker,
Are you ready?
lawnmower.
Now, gardening's over.
Gardening's over.
Yeah, it's a baby.
Oh
Okay,
man.
I'm in.
That looks incredibly dumb. That would fit in the good, it might fit in the good bad movie category, or maybe just bad movie category. Alan,
By
what
the
are
way,
your
they
thoughts?
just announced that Liam Neeson is going to star in the Sign Spinner.
The sign spinner. That's the next thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, how many jobs can you turn into an action
Exactly.
movie? I mean, Daisy Ridley was in The Cleaner. I mean, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
Fry Cook.
uninspired. The Fry Cook. I don't know. It's this is now officially a trend. Is
The film critic.
nondescript job as an action movie. I think it's hilarious.
The film critic.
Yeah, the sign jockey. That was a good one from Atomic Lori. Well, there you go. That was your treat for the day. Let's go to comments here, starting with Soups, and we'll get to our reviews.
All right, Von Max for 10. Shadow Force. Yeah, let's
I'll
talk
save
about
that.
this
I'm
one.
so sorry.
Krog Base for 20 Swedish krona. Bella Ramsey, Uncanny Valley. Pearson's not scary.
Yeah. She has a weird face.
Okay.
Just gonna
Visitor
say.
23 for €2. Cruise is the type to parachute into your theater.
That would be awesome.
Cook Poo for $4.99. Peacemakers season 2 teaser trailer dropped today. Thoughts?
I have no thoughts. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But if we
I
have
barely
time
watched the first one.
at the end of the show, maybe we'll watch it. I don't know. We're tight today.
Yeah. Grizzly Nightmare BO for $1.99. Have either of you watched Ultra Q? I love it. No.
I have not watched it. Alan?
No.
Well, there you go.
I
Sorry,
don't-
Grizzly.
Rudy for two.
I'll check it out. Okay, go ahead.
All right. We got a lot on the show today. Rudy for 2. As a Carter, I can confirm this is 100% accurate. I hope he
See? I mean,
yeah.
does every gardener kind of think to themselves as they have like their tools, like, oh, I could use this as a weapon? And to be fair, I actually own a machete just for cutting back like bushes that grow into my little patio there. So I just,
I like the
just
idea
chop
of composting the dead bodies you've just killed.
them. See, it's full circle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Patrick Lemire, the proctologist. Your ass is mine. We're going in. Jeremiah Johnson, X-Files was all in Vancouver, right? Yeah.
That's true.
The 90s, Vancouver got a lot of work in the 90s.
Yes.
The Garth Knight returns. How will the tariffs affect the adult industry, Alan? Inquiring minds want to know.
Alan, what do you think on that?
Well, I don't know. I think it's important that we do tariff porns from overseas. Just keep American porn in America, please.
Keep it in Calabasas where most of it is filmed.
Yeah, in the valley.
Yeah, exactly.
And Tom Siebert, Jim Agnew, deserving much respect for speaking so candidly on the record.
I'll say he was mostly candid, but he told me things that he said, I can't repeat this publicly, but he told me a lot. So, hey, let's get to our reviews. We have a lot of them today, so we'll get those posters up. Alan, are you doing that right now?
Actually, Lori does posters now.
Yeah. Well, let's get those posters up. Hum the theme to Sherlock Holmes right now.
Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do-do, Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do. Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do-do, Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do. Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do-do, Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do. Sherlock Holmes, do-do-do-do.
I need to stop letting you bait me into these things.
There you go. We're going to start with a movie you and I have both seen. Friendship.
That wouldn't be it.
Yeah.
Friendship.
I'm going to start with a movie you and I have both seen called Friendship.
I can see her working. I can see her working back there doing it. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start today with the movie you and I have both seen, Friendship, starring Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. Tim Robinson, of course, was he's the star of this comedy series where he pulls like pranks. He pulls pranks in this comedy series, and one of the clips I can't watch it because I'll die. He was in I Love You Man with Paul Rudd. He was in a show called This Is the Show. I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. Yeah. There's a bit there where he dresses as an old man, goes to a mall, and then has like a life crisis in the middle of doing a bit. It's very meta. It's hilarious. So it's cringe comedy at its best. Alan, tell me the basic story for Friendship.
All right. Tim Robinson plays I had the notes here. Let me okay, here we go. Tim Robinson plays Craig Waterman. He lives in a modest town with his wife Tammy, played by Kate Mara, sorry. And Paul Rudd is the local weatherman. Craig is encouraged to go out and find friends. He spends too much time at home with his son. And one day he gets a package for Austin, played by Paul Rudd. He goes and delivers it, and the two become real good friends. A whirlwind of romance, if you will. And he's invited to guys' night out on a Friday night. And Craig is having a hard time blending in with the guys. And then boxing time happens where the guys get helmets and gloves on. Craig is encouraged to fight Austin. He loses and then sucker punches him. And then that's when things get creepy. Austin kicks Craig out of the guy group, and Craig has to do whatever he can to get back in. This is probably one of the most cringiest comedies I've seen in a very long time.
Well, I was fortunate to see it at an early screening. It was open to the public, by the way. It was one of those early access that AMC will do sometimes. So I saw it on Monday, and the audience went nuts. It was a packed audience. In fact, they had 2 early access screenings, and both were sold out, nearly sold out. The audience went nuts. Yeah. There was a Q&A after that was done in the dark with cameras like heat vision. It was done completely black, and they did the Q&A. It was very funny.
Tim and Paul were there, or
yeah, Tim and Paul. No, it was filmed. It was video.
Oh, okay.
They filmed it with the director. I love this film. It's a very simple story, and Tim Robinson's character just is over the top with his cringe. What happens with his wife is just insane. And the whole weatherman angle, he's kind of a desperate weatherman that's not very good at his job, which is hilarious. And what I like is Paul Rudd. We saw Paul Rudd in that unicorn movie, which was not great.
Death of a Unicorn.
Death of a Unicorn, not great. This is phenomenal. Back to form for Paul Rudd. If you liked I Love You Man, this is in that vein. of just sort of male friendships and that kind of cringe comedy. And Tim Robinson, if you've not seen that show that he does, it's just absolutely hysterical. So I don't know. This is a strong recommend from me. I loved it. And it's good. It's a comedy that does not overstay its welcome. I'm not going to say what the running time is. You can guess, but it's close to my favorite running time. Yeah. So this is a strong recommend from me. I don't know what you think. I'm recommending it. And it's also, it's like, I couldn't predict where it was going to go, especially in the middle of, there'll be no spoilers here. In the middle, there's a weird turn the film takes story-wise where you're like, what? And that pays off. It's just very funny.
I agree. I really love this movie. I think the best way to cringe comedies are difficult to watch because it's cringe. Craig just makes one bad decision after the other, and you watch this guy spiral out of control or spiral downward, and at every point you think to yourself, oh, don't do that. Oh, of course he does it. And the thing with Tammy in the middle of the movie is hilarious. God. The reason I hesitate is because cringe comedies, they're like horror films. It's like, oh my God, this is gonna get worse. Oh, it's gonna get worse. And it's by design. And the filmmaker, the director, we have a Q&A in the member channel with a Q&A with the director, and it's just all intentional. And this is Tim Robinson at his best, the nice guy who goes dark and has no self-awareness. He cranks it to 11 in this movie.
Yeah, strong recommend from me. So there you go. Here's one movie both of us recommend that you see this weekend.
Yeah, and this is a Tim Robinson movie. Paul Rudd is probably in like 25% of the movie.
And he's great. Yeah. And the sort of anti-chemistry they have works.
Yeah. I mean, that ending.
Let's go to comments.
There's a button on the ending that's fantastic that you rarely see in comedies, and I loved it. All right. C Black for 4. Rumor is Fantastic Four won't do test screenings because Marvel / Disney is confident in the movie, or they just don't want word to get out like Superman.
Yeah.
Krog based for 20 Swedish krona. Notice how Andor episode 8 is every Holocaust movie ever. Yeah, we should probably talk about Andor on Wednesday as well.
Okay, we can do that. Andor finale. We'll do that.
Yeah. Brock Samsonite, based on the caption at the bottom of the poster, I get the feeling this movie is Mean Girls, but for old dads. Rudy for 5. I was at an early screening. It was funny and dark. But man, those cringe drove me nuts. I loved it. Wasn't too long too. Yeah, it gets cringe. And that's the feeling I get watching it. Patrick Lemire, seems like I hate you, man.
Well, there you go. Let's go to Juliet and Romeo, if we can bring that up. Alan, I did not see Juliet and Romeo. I am familiar with Romeo and Juliet, but this movie is playing in theaters. They flip it to Juliet and Romeo, which, if you're going alphabetical, I guess that's correct. But you saw this movie. I did not.
Yeah. By the way, did I mention it was a musical? It's got songs in it.
Oh no.
And it's got people we know. Rebel Wilson, you can see her there at the bottom of the poster. She plays one of the mothers, and our good friend Dan Fogler is in there.
I like Dan. I like Dan Fogler. Like him in anything. So what'd you think of this movie?
So Juliet and Romeo.
I know the story, but how does it flip the story of Romeo and Juliet?
Let's put it. Okay, here's how it flips it. Ask yourself this question: what if millennials could improve Shakespeare? That is Juliet and Romeo.
No! Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. If you were to go in your mind and think, what could millennials do to make Romeo and Juliet better? And I guarantee you, this is that movie.
Okay, is this Wokio and Juliet?
Well, woke only in the sense that I think this movie really wants to empower women. There's like a kind of a coming together song of the women in the middle of the movie where they realize that they're not seen and they need a voice. I will dare look. I will say that maybe the men in this movie don't come off so well. I know it's hard to believe that might happen, but it happens in this movie, but fortunately they're the young teens, the young teen males who could possibly be turned and swayed thanks to their mothers and girlfriends and other women in the town. And then I think the important thing is to ask, because Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy, and you're probably thinking to yourself, how can millennials and Gen Zs handle or change or improve upon such a tragic ending? And by God, they do it.
Are you
kidding? Do it.
Okay, wait.
I'm not going to spoil it, but
before you spoil it, I want to know: does everyone here want us to spoil it? Because I want to hear what this is. What happens? Okay. So Y's in the chat, yes to spoil, N for no spoil.
Okay.
So let's see.
We'll let that go. Let me talk about
Y's.
Music. Okay.
Okay. Talk about the music, and then we'll get the consensus here.
Okay. So
music.
Yeah, let's talk about it. It is a musical, and I will say that it is on par with the great musicals put out by the Disney Channel. It's just got that kind of modern feel to it. It doesn't go in. It definitely doesn't. It's all original. Let's put it that way. But it's basically people singing their feelings, which I guess that's the purpose of musicals. But to me, what makes a musical great is that by the end of the song, the character has changed or discovered something because they sang the song. But this is really about, here's my feelings, and I'm just going to sing about it. And then there's a couple, those conversational songs. So there's really nothing inspiring about the music, nothing memorable about it. I will say it is probably average when it comes to modern musicals. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with the beats and the emotions evoked, but there's no depth in these songs, which, that is the thing that makes a musical great, is songs with some depth to it. Some songs that really integrate themselves in the story, and that just doesn't happen here. So it appears no one wants me to spoil the ending.
Yeah, there's literally no one put an N in there. It's all Y. So please spoil the ending of Juliet and Romeo.
Here, let me start this one. So as you know, the apothecary in Romeo and Juliet has a poison. It has a pseudo poison that can kill you or make you appear to be dead. In this one, it's there's that poison, but there's an antidote. But the antidote is something happens where they can't get to the antidote. And so Juliet takes it, and because Romeo is so in love with Juliet, he takes the poison as well because he wants to be with her, even if it's in death. But hey, they found the antidote.
And they live at the end.
They live at the end.
They literally.
And then they go
get an
into
antidote to the poison and live at the end of Juliet.
And then they go into self-exile to live the rest of their lives in love.
I am so glad I will never see this movie. So I'm going to say it's a non-recommend from you. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. It's just, it's so pretentious.
Yeah.
And we are not the audience. We are, I think millennial and Gen Z girls will love this.
Let's go to comments.
Albert, not a retro for Too Canadian. Hope you'll check out those Canadian movies. Well, looks like I won't be able to afford them. Magna Norris for 5. How gay is this movie? Less gay than you'd think.
Yep.
I mean, it's a musical. Let's just put it that way. Tom Sieber, to be fair, that's how West Side Story ends as well. Romeo stand-in dies, Juliet stand-in lives. Yes, but at least you had a story building up to where that you still get that tragic nature of it. That Juliet or Maria in this case will never find love again. Film threat over at Rumble, Pat for 2, Proctologist 2, The Extraction. No, I still like We're Going In. Okay. 80 Ellis 24, Shocker, Modernity Ruins Another Classic. Patrick Miller, there's a new Broadway show. The premise: Juliet doesn't die and discovers she don't need no man. It's a real thing. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Let's get to our main review, Fight or Flight. I'll get that up here. Alan, you and I both saw Fight or Flight. This stars Josh Hartnett. It is an 80s inspired action, and I would say also comedy, sort of just below the surface. It's directed by James Madigan. It's a simple story. Josh Hartnett plays an ex-Secret Service FBI agent, Lucas Reyes, and he is the only guy in Thailand right now who can get on a flight where the ghost, we don't know who this person is. They've been completely under the radar, even on surveillance. They cannot be picked up. And this person is going on a flight from Thailand to San Francisco and committed some heinous crimes. And this ghost is wanted. So Josh Hartnett's on this plane, doesn't know who he's looking for. He's on the flight. He has to find out who is the ghost. Unbeknownst to him, the entire flight is filled with assassins, all after Ghost, and no one knows who Ghost is. So it's like Bullet Train on a plane.
It's Bullet
That's
Plane.
What this is Bullet Plane. Yeah, Bullet Train on a plane. Simple premise. It's and I gotta say this. There's a Katie Sackhoff plays like sort of the like the intelligence boss of a company that plays into the story. Not going to talk about second half story spoilers there, but I will say this. This is a stupid, over the top, dumb action comedy saved by Josh Hartnett. His charm, I don't know what he is, man. The guy's on a roll. From that M. Night Shyamalan movie he did to Oppenheimer to this, I also, as I'm watching it, the movie, I'm like, he would have made a great Reed Richards. Why not Josh Hartnett as Reed Richards? Just think of him. He's got the square jaw. He could do the hair. He's the right age. Reed Richards is a little older. He would have been a better Reed Richards. You can always do the hair. And he's willing. Look, he went blonde for this. He's a drunk when we first meet him. He's broken over an experience.
He's kind of a burned agent.
He's like a burned out agent that doesn't want to, refusal of the call. That's the Joseph Campbell on the hero's journey. The one thing that really bugged me is the overuse of shaky cam in all the action. And by the end, the level, I was not prepared for this. The level of gore in this movie is on the level in the third act, like a horror movie. I mean, the kills are really weird and creative ways that people die. They're like funny, creative, bizarre, but by the end, it's like a Tarantino film. It is nonstop gore. Totally like, you don't believe all the things that are happening, is like so over the top. I felt the third act, the third act got kind of dumb. It was like it had this kind of message. It wanted to sneak in all these messages about the environment, child labor, trafficking. Yeah. It was like it was a weird thing where they couldn't decide which social message to weave into the story in the third act. So they just did all of them. But it's done in such a dumb way that you can't take it seriously. It's almost like the movie was mocking movies that include some kind of social message. It's stupid to include some weird over the top message in a movie that is a gory action comedy. So with the exception of the camera work, the stupid third act, I had fun. I would put this in a category of a good bad movie, because aspects of it are really bad and stupid, and just annoying, including like Katie Sackhoff has this underling at the intelligence agency she works at, and he is a moron. And oh my God, I could not.
He's a
stand
brown
it.
noser. Yeah.
Brown nosing moron that gets a bigger part by the third act, and I couldn't stand that guy. But Josh Hartnett is the heart of this movie. I'll say one more thing, and then I want to hear what you think. There's a part where he's like he's been stabbed and he's injured, and what does he do to pump himself up? He thinks he's drinking adrenaline, but it's really some hallucination. It's
psychedelic. It's a psychedelic.
Psychedelic drug. And as he's going through action, you see in his mind what he's seeing, which is like sparklers and rainbows, but he's really murdering people. It's the audience lost it. It was fun. It was really fun. So I recommend it, even with the flaws. It is a highly flawed, good bad movie where I had a lot of fun. Like a 6.5 or 7, I would say, out of 10. 6.5 probably, but I had a good time. Josh Hartnett, Reed Richards, make it happen. Alan, what did you think?
It's too late for that, but
I know.
Yeah, unfortunately for this stream, I have to agree with you. I really love this movie.
It's fun.
Yeah, the one comment you made is the one that I walked away with was this. There's more gore in this movie than all the horror films I've seen combined so far. I haven't seen a lot, but this just goes for it. The way people are dismembered and killed and murdered, it's like, how many times are you gonna stab someone in the eyeball? Because there's a lot of eyeball stuff in here. I was looking away for probably a good third of the movie, but I did like the story. As you say, Josh Hartnett, very sympathetic character, very well-defined character. You're rooting for him all the way. There's also the stewardess, the what do we call him nowadays? Flight attendant, Aisha, who I'll just say this. I like movies that put cute women in it, and it makes the movie easier to watch all the way through, especially one this violent. And she is very adorable, very cute. And has a big part in how things play out.
And there are sexy assassins.
Yeah, sexy assassins. Oh yeah, and then there's the trio, the women trio. To your point about bringing all this messaging, it's all designed to kind of spotlight the motivations of the ghost and why there are assassins on board and why people want to get to the ghost. It's one of those things where we need to build sympathy for the ghost motivation. So we're going to use things that people believe in, such as climate change and human trafficking and things like that. It just represents how writers today think, oh, well, of course everyone believes in climate change, or at least believes in what I think climate change is. It's just kind of a fool's errand when you do that. And it weakens the character because there is a debate, and you're certainly taking a side when you go to one of the extreme sides about it. But having said all that, yeah, I had a lot of fun. It's a brutal watch. Let's put that. I think we're reviewing 2 other horror films, and this is gorier than those horror films. So yeah,
let's go to comments.
Definitely. I gave it a much higher rating. I gave it an 8.
Wow. Let's go to comments.
Magnum Norse for 2. How not gay is this movie?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
it's not at all.
Okay. Patrick Lear, John Wick on a plane was the pitch. Yeah, and yep. But it's very cartoon violent compared to John Wick, which tries to be a little bit more over the top, authentic. The Dark Knight Returns. Josh Hartnett at one time would have made a good Superman, which he did try out for Superman Returns.
Yeah.
Uncle Jimmy, Fight or Flight was so much fun. I loved it. Everyone in my theater had a blast. Yeah, same with
same. My theater, they loved it.
It was such a smart move to make it the Monday mystery movie. Joe Chapman, I enjoyed 80% of this. The wokey bits, no. Liked Hartnett. It's like Bullet Train, lesser siblings. I'll say this: this movie had more Asians in it than Bullet Train.
Well, there you are. So Cool. Hey, let's talk about this movie, Clown in a Cornfield. Gonna get that up. Alan, you don't always see the horror films that come out. I'm more the horror guy, but you did see Clown in a Cornfield.
And on your recommendation.
Yes, it is. It comes from director Eli Craig, who we're interviewing later today. I would not have him on the show if I didn't love this movie. It is a classic 80s, 90s horror film with a simple look, clowns are scary. If the Joker, one of the greatest movie and pop culture villains ever, has taught us, clowns are scary. And so this plays on that. I love the opening of the movie. The opening of the movie is inspired very directly by Jaws. A young woman runs into a cornfield as she's tearing her clothes off. A guy kind of chases after her, excited, until she encounters a clown in a cornfield where she's taken care of. Let's say that. I won't spoil it. Cut 2 years later, the movie cut 2 years later, and the new kid in town moves to a small town. The lead character being Katie Douglas plays Quinn. Her and her dad moved to this small town, and she's the new kid, makes friends kind of in a sort of apprehensive way, finds a guy she kind of likes, and hangs out with a high school friends. And it was like, as I'm watching like the movie going, I'm going like, I haven't just seen a simple, oh my God, like teens, and they want to have, there's talk of sex, and they're drinking. They're acting like normal teens used to do in movies, like very simple. You meet the parents of some of these kids in their a-holes. Let's just say that. Obviously, we will not reveal where things are, where things go and whatnot. It's all about who is behind the mask of the clown in a cornfield, which escalates to clowns in a cornfield as people are offed one by one. I don't want to get into the motivations. It's very clever. I just had a good time. Even there is a reveal that some people might say is kind of woke. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was like mocking.
It was handled better than most I've seen.
Yeah, it was handled really well. It sort of had its cake and eat it too. And it's really about generational rivalry. Let's say that. Like with the whole thing where okay boomer, that it's a little bit of that. I just had a blast. Creative kills. Clowns are awful. And you got to see, teens. Some of them meet an end. What do you think of Clowns?
Yeah, well, let me address that for a second. What it is that this takes place in the 90s. It's a very older generation town. There are things in this town that could have helped the teens escape, but because they didn't know how to use it, that ultimately caused their demise. For example, a rotary phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so
well, no, it takes place present. It begins in the 90s.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's right. You're right. Let's see. Okay, so I don't see horror films. I probably would not have seen this if not for your recommendation. And your recommendation was a major spoiler. So I'll say this. You go see it, you'll have fun. There is a huge spoiler in the middle of it that makes it worthwhile. I'll just go that way. Or turn of events. I'll leave it just
the dial phone thing that you brought up is great. Because it starts in the 90s, comes to present, and then it's like it shows how kids like we're like, they know tech better than the boomers, but they don't know old tech. They don't know like how to use a rotary phone.
Because there's that over reliance on tech that teens and young people have today that that ultimately could do him in if those tech things go away, if cellular towers go out of whack. How do you survive now if you can't call someone, or you can't track them on your phone? But yeah, I like this. Like I said, the gore in this movie, it is a gory movie, but it's nowhere near the gore of Fight or Flight, but enough. And as you say, it's a fairly standard slasher film. And I think what I like about this is the fact that it is somewhat of an indie film, put out by Shudder, or on Shudder right now. And it's I would say, if you've ever watched stuff on Shudder, what? Okay. If you ever watch stuff on Shudder, it's a mixed bag of production values. This one is pretty on the high level of production value. I appreciate that. And also a big fan of Will Sasso. And that was another reason I wanted to see this movie, just to see him. But yeah, recommendation. It's just a good old slasher movie.
It's yes, good old like an ode to classic horror films of the 90s.
Yeah.
Let's go to
and again, let me mention your female character. If she's cute, that really helps your movie. I'll just say it.
Well, I was surprised the people they killed off.
Yeah.
There is just because you're a certain type of character doesn't mean you're going to live.
Yeah.
You're
and not only that,
this movie doesn't protect the people you would think.
Yeah, and it's also the order in which they are killed too.
Oh
it's
my God!
Because you expect this person to go at that point. Yeah,
don't say it, but man, I had a blast. Comments.
All right. Visitor 23 for €2. Send the gardener to get the clown in the cornfield. Davina Duckworth, pitch. Imagine children in the corn with clowns.
Children of the corn.
Of the corn with clowns. Nerd far away. Conversely, tech would totally kill a horror movie, since we can all just call 911 from anywhere.
You always have to, with modern movies, come up with an excuse why cell phones don't work.
To shut things down. Yeah. The Introspect M. He'll pair up with a scarecrow in the sequel.
I hope it's a franchise.
Visitor 23. Does the clown warn us about climate change too?
No, there's no overt messaging in this, but the characters are of a generation that care about stuff like that. So that kind of comes into play. Hey, we've got more films to review. How about we get to this one, Alan? Shadow Force. You saw Shadow Force. Let's get that poster up.
All right.
Alan, I did not see Shadow Force. You did.
Yes.
Here it is with Kerry Washington, Omar Sy, family over everything. Shadow Force. What's it about?
Yeah, let's just say the short straw on movies this week. Kerry Washington and Omar Sy play Kira and Isaac, former covert operatives for the government. They worked for Cinder, played by Mark Strong, who is currently under investigation for the ops work he had led back in the past. But today he is the general secretary of the G7. But if anything from his past is found out, he would be exposed, and bad things happen. And so he needs to tie up some loose ends. And those loose ends are Kira and Sy, who were part of that group, fell in love, had a baby, and then disappeared. The baby is about 5 years old now. The cutest kid you've ever met. He loves seeing Lionel Richie. He loves his mother and his father. And so the two are living covertly, off the grid. But Kira, the mother, she decides that early on when she gave birth that she is going to not be a part of the family, but she is going to systematically murder or assassinate all the people who are looking after her, meaning Cinder and the team that they were part of. And as she's picking people off one by one, let's see, Isaac and the kid are at a bank just doing the normal thing. A robbery occurs. It's guns blazing everywhere, and Isaac decides he needs to take care of the robbers, and in doing so, exposes himself, and now Cinder knows he's out there, that they have a kid, and now more than ever they need to take these two out. And so two things happen. One is they've got to stay covert. Two, they got to protect their child. And three, they got to end this thing all at once, and that means get to Cinder and the people who are coming after them. So this movie is directed by Joe Carnahan.
Oh, wow. I like Joe Carnahan.
Okay. And so here's the impression I get from the movie. This is a $75 million movie made for $25 million. This is probably one of the most unimpressive action movies I've seen in a long time. And, and I remember watching it thinking, I'm glad Kerry Washington and all the producers decided let's give a indie filmmaker a chance to make an action film. Because it felt like watching it was indie level quality. And I think if I thought that this was an indie film made by an indie filmmaker, I'd probably like it more, because there are challenges you have to overcome and you want to root for that. But this is Joe freaking Carnahan who directed this.
Yeah.
And the camera work was very subpar. The lighting was very subpar. And it just felt like he was dealing with a budget that was very prohibitive of him making a good quality action film. There's a car chase that occurs with motorcycles, and they do this weird thing to make this action sequence cool. They drive down this mountain road in dense fog, and the bad guys start firing flares at them. And there must have been at least 1,000 flares just being thrown out at the cars during this action sequence. And I felt like it was done to make this cheap chase sequence look cooler than it really is. And so, the best thing about this movie is the kid. Let me give him some credit here. It's Kai Jalil Kamara. He's 5 or 6 years old, and he's a hell of an actor. The whole movie kind of centers around this Lionel Richie soundtrack that he sings, and it's just adorable. But as an action movie, it's just unimpressive in every way. And like I said, the best way I can describe it's a $75 million movie made for $25 million, and it just shows.
So this is a pass.
It's a pass. It's a pass. When it comes to Tubi, go watch it there.
Let's go to comments.
All right. Von Max for 10. Shadow Force had a lot of setups and payoffs. The acting was great. It was okay. With fantastic chemistry. Okay. I was invested every moment of the story. Highly recommend. Okay.
Oh, we'll see, some people disagree, Alan.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you, Von Max.
Okay. Will Young for 5. I want to like Omar Sy, but outside of Lupin movies, he hasn't impressed me. Yeah, I mean the bank sequence where he takes down all the bankers. There's just not a cool swagger at all in this action movie, from Omar Sy to Kerry Washington to Mark Strong.
I would expect more from Joe Carnahan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I loved A-Team. Let's see, from Pat. Alan just pulled a Joe Biden. 2 things happen and then lists 3 things. Bill W. Did AI write Shadow Force? You know what? Shadow Force, the story, if it had $75 million, would probably have been a really good idea, a really good story. ADLS 24. They pumped out a sequel to G20 faster than they expected. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So, all right, let's get to our next review. A film that I saw. I don't think you saw this one, Alan.
Yeah, I think I'm out of movies to talk about. So.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Let's talk about Watch the Skies. This is a Swedish film. How do I describe this? Watch the Skies is a Swedish film that was, let me just tell you the story first.
Well, here, the impression I get is it's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but from the child's perspective.
It's the story of a young girl, or she's young at the beginning of the story. Her father is obsessed with UFOs, tracking them, finding them, and he is abducted when she's a young girl. Cut to later, she's now in her teenage years. She's kind of taken on her father's obsession with UFOs. So now she's all into UFOs. And what ends up happening is she's trying to find her father who's been abducted by UFOs. So she's on a mission to find him. That's the whole story. Now, the one thing that struck me about this movie, it feels very much like a movie from the 80s and 90s in the vein of Spielberg, like Close Encounters. It has that whimsical, fanciful, like obsession with UFOs, but for a good cause. In a way, it kind of feels inspired by Interstellar, because it's a father-daughter story, but it's from the point of view of the daughter, not, the dad who goes off to space. She's left behind, wants to seek him out, and she's just obsessed with finding UFOs, and she teams up with the UFO Sweden, which is this group of people who track all the UFO sightings and whatnot. But I really, really enjoyed this film from the standpoint of, it seems like I was watching a movie that was made in like the 80s, but I was just like a movie I missed from the 80s, but I'm seeing it now. Right? I would say it's sort of more on the sci-fi adventure, young adult, because it really is kind of a young adult's point of view, and that informs everything. So there you go. And I'll say this, it is worth mentioning. So it takes place in Sweden, and all the characters have Swedish accents, but they're speaking English. Why is that? Why? This was originally a Swedish film where everyone spoke Swedish. Rather than bringing it to the United States and subtitling the movie, which is what you do, you subtitle a film, a company called Flawless approached the filmmakers and said, hey, we have this new AI technology. If you take your actors, have them re-record all their dialogue in English, we can use a plugin in Avid to reform this part of their mouth so that they're speaking in English. I did not know that when I saw the film. It was only after that I learned this. You do not notice. It's completely unnoticeable. And you would think like, oh, that would take months, so long. It with the plugin, it took them merely weeks to do this. And they used the original actors, were paid to re-record their dialogue in English. It's in a way, it's an ethical use of AI, because the data sets are the actors themselves. Now, this isn't like a thing that makes the movie better. I think if you don't like subtitles, I mean, the movie exists in Swedish, but the fact that, and it was made like 3 years ago, and the Flawless people from that company, I talked to one of the guys who works for the company. That's how I know this. They met them at Cannes and said, hey, we have this new technology. Can we let's see if this can work, like proof of concept. It works. It's a fun film. And if you like movies like Close Encounters, and it feels like it's that era, it is set in the 90s. So, it is set in the 90s, but it feels like it was also made back in that period of time, a more innocent time. So there's nothing about it there's no political anything about it, just a fun sci-fi adventure. If you're distracted by the Swedish accents, they're just sort of, they have accents, but the movie is fun. I give it a recommend. And this opens a whole door to, look, a lot of people will not go see movies with subtitles. This is a game changer. If you can take foreign films that are very good, do an English translation with the actors, with their voices. I mean, this opens up. Not only that, older films where the dubbing is actually really bad, like old Toho Godzilla movies, to see a perfect in English version. I'm just saying it opens the door to broadening the audience of people turned off by subtitles or bad dubbing, and changes the game. I recommend seeing the movie, not just for that aspect. It's also a fun film. So there's my review. Alan, I do recommend that you see it.
Okay. So you would suggest taking the old Godzilla movies? And
I'm not saying they do that. I'm saying I would hate that, but it opens up the possibility. That's an option. It's doable. You could do that. So it opens older films and newer films to do from that alone. This is a game changer for the industry.
Yeah.
Let's go to comments.
Darth Yeager. So I guess the truth is out there.
Yes.
Joe Chapman, does this film make us cry? Did you feel emotional?
It's emotional ending. I didn't cry, but it's emotional.
All right. The nerd far away. Does she build anything using mashed potatoes?
No, but I love that scene from Close Encounters.
Mr. Burger for 10. As an indie filmmaker / animator, thank you, Chris and Alan, for showcasing all the indies trying to come up. Watch my new cartoon, Mr. Burger's Big Date, on YouTube next week.
Well, thank you, Mr. Burger. One of my conceits with this channel, other channels cover a lot of the same things. It's Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, that whole cycle. And yes, we do it too. That will suck in viewers, but we will always cover and individually clip every single indie movie that we cover. Will get its own clip because it's in theaters, and we want to recommend indie movies. It's sort of like you need to keep your media diet diversified and see lots of different films. So there you go. A couple more comments here, and then we have a special guest joining us. I'm very excited.
All right. Kenneth Merchant. Man, that's bad. AI ruined movies already.
No, because would you have seen this movie, Watch the Skies, in Swedish with subtitles? Maybe not. But a lot of people will go see this movie and go, wait, that was done with AI? But Kenneth, I recommend it.
All right. Be more better. This is cool and good use of AI. Yeah, exact opposite.
I think there are good uses of AI. There's it does need to be done ethically. I do believe that. So I think you're going to see more and more uses of AI that will bring foreign films to other markets. I think that's, in the end, it's a good thing. Hey, we've got our special guest here. We will talk about Monty Python and the Holy Grail at the end of the show. Maybe another treat. Alan, you were going to say?
Yeah, I was just saying, I think the issue with AI is at least the filmmakers were curating it, and it wasn't done, as if I was taking the old Godzilla and then doing this on my own.
A whole other story. I'm saying it's a potential use of AI that will open the markets for foreign films. Imagine U.S. movies. A U.S. movie they make a Chinese version, all that. You can use the real actors' voices along with changing the mouths. And
as long as the filmmakers are curating it, I'm good with that.
And the actors are compensated.
Yeah,
for sure. Hey, we have a special guest joining us. That's right. Director Eli Craig, who did Clown in a Cornfield, a movie that both Alan and I loved, had a great time with. He's here to talk about the movie. Let's talk to Eli. Hey, Eli, thanks for joining us on the show here today. We're going to feature you front and center. Thank you for joining us here on our Film Threat Livecast on a Friday.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Congratulations on getting your film in the theater.
I know, it's incredible. I mean, I don't even know if you guys know the backstory to this.
No, let's hear it.
It's so indie. I mean, they don't want me to talk about budget, but it's a miracle the movie even got made.
Please talk to us.
It's a good-looking movie.
Amazing.
I had a great team, and I've done this before where you're just fighting the current. You know, you're fighting the river that's just falling upon you to try to swim upstream and make a movie for so little money. I mean, this is made. They don't want me to say, but it's way less than 10 million. It's way less than 10 million. It's half of 10 million.
9 million. No, but
no, it was like a $5 million movie. And so
but this is
the fact that we're getting this into theaters. This was kind of like a latent dream for me, because Tucker and Dale that I made, now I can't believe it's 15 years ago. I always dreamed for that movie to like break out in theaters and be a big hit. And it didn't do that, but it became like this cult classic over many, many years. And so now I'm getting another chance at the theaters, and it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So how did you pull this thing together? And I got to say, I love that I don't know if you saw, we actually reviewed the film earlier in the show. The whole thing with the current teens unable to use old technology, you know, like a rotary phone, like all that. And I just love that the film has a theme. I don't want to get too deep into it for those who haven't seen it, but when that reveal happens, I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's you know, it's really fun when you could play a joke that just lands right on the theme of the movie. And I love that, you know, this is about a generational divide, this movie, and it's two generations, younger generation, older generation, just not listening to each other. And sort of a cautionary tale of two people just can't hear the other side, and it erupts in bloodshed. But a lot of the jokes on this are about like the generations just not being compatible.
Now, what inspired this? Someone was saying like Children of the Corn, but with clowns, like some of our people in the comments. I mean, clowns are universally loathed by people. I remember reading a stat that they asked 200 children a simple question. A society of clowns wanted to promote having clowns at a birthday party. They asked 200 kids, would you like a clown at your birthday party? 100% said no. Kids,
kid
are scared of clowns. Is that was, and obviously the Joker is an iconic Batman villain, you know, in cinema and comics and whatnot. Like, I mean, there's a clown genre of horror films.
Yeah, well, that's why every parent should actually have a clown now at a kid's birthday party, because instilling a little fear in these kids is totally justified. Their lives are too easy right now. Let's make sure we rough things up. Yeah, I think clowns have this like dual nature to them, you know? It's the fact that you can't trust them. They have this wicked smile. When we were looking for the design, we were trying to come up with the design of Friendo. I was looking at like these old 1930s pictures of clowns. And there were pictures of like Boris Karloff, like after painting his face the clown, the great like magician morphing actor, was sitting there with a cigarette looking so depressed with this big happy smile on his face from the 1930s and just looking like, man, I'm tired and I just want to quit this job. And there's something so funny about that, what's going on inside the person versus what's outside, the exterior. And I think that just makes him very untrustworthy.
And I love, there's a great moment in the beginning where you see like a footprint, but it's a clown shoe footprint. I was just the level of detail in that. What went into like coming up with the kills? That's, I think people that love horror like myself, original kills are always fun to come up with.
That's like the most fun thing, you know. My family thinks I'm crazy because as I'm doing the movie, I'm walking around going like, okay, how do I kill this teenager? You know, and let's come up with some ideas. Brainstorm, guys. It's time, family meeting. You know, you start with an element. I thought like it would be really fun to have some jock who just is addicted to the gym, you know, and pushing up weights. And when I used to be at the gym a fair bit, like I always thought, oh, I'll be fine just bench pressing alone. You know, I'm just going to bench this amount. And then there's that last moment where you're like, oh my God, I could die.
You're right. Yeah.
Watching. And I thought that would be fun. And then I thought, well, it's not enough. You know, how do we up the stakes a little? And we have a little, killer device that the clown puts on the bar as well to cause a little extra anxiety. So I'm always looking for like the in, and then how do I up the stakes a little bit? It can't just be a pitchfork in the gut. It has to be a pitchfork in the gut, and then maybe smashing up into the ceiling. It's and using the elements I think that you have at your disposal. In this case, it's a very like farm driven film. It's based in the cornfields, obviously, and it's Kettle Springs. And so what are my accoutrements? What are people using out there? And a lot of them are really fun for me and are things like chainsaws and hacking devices and corn scythes.
I want to talk more about the movie, but would you mind if we watched the trailer together?
Yeah.
And we can talk about it on the other side. We have like 1,500 people watching live. Let's watch the Red Band trailer for the film together. Yes, Alan, we're doing
Thank
it.
you. Yeah,
so here we
that's what I
go.
need this morning.
Here's the trailer. Great.
There you go.
That's great. Now, I got to ask, I don't want to ruin too much about the movie, but it really is a love letter to classic horror films of another era, that kind of like 80s and 90s. But I noticed the order and the types of people that are like, no one is spared. And I feel like you were kind of making a statement in a way about like, no one is safe in this movie at all.
That was important to me. And also I loved casting kind of fresh faces in this. You don't even necessarily know who's the final girl, who's going to make it through this alive. And I do like to take the horror tropes and make you feel safe with them. Maybe initially like, oh, I'm just watching this horror movie. I know what's going to happen. Everything's cool. I got this figured out. And then twisting it up and going in a new direction and, making people feel a little unsure about their original thoughts,
And I got to say also on the casting, you actually cast people who look like the ages they play. So many other horror films of the past, you got like someone 25 playing 16. It was never believable. Your casting on this was phenomenal.
Yeah, and my son, who just got an arrow to the head, he's 17. He was finishing his senior year of high school. I said, "You've got to come out. You've got to get killed in this shot. You're the perfect casting choice. This isn't nepotism. I just need you, buddy." And it was really fun to kill my son there. And the rest of the cast just they look really young, in their early 20s, late teens, and they were all just so ready for this. It was so fun watching each one of them kind of embody their character and then become this sort of lovable character throughout the movie. And then everybody gets so tense, like, don't kill that person. That's the person I love. Sorry,
I got to ask you about your main lead, Katie Douglas. To me, she was just perfect in the role. What was the criteria beforehand that you were looking for to cast the role of Quinn?
I really wanted to find a person that was at once like kind of delicate and fragile, but had this strength to her and this toughness, and she's not a weak final girl. Like, we don't go through the thing where she's just not a leader or can't handle it. Like, she's kind of the one that can handle this scenario, surprisingly. And she has this sense of toughness, like she can handle the situation. That's why I cast her. And she also is just so, she's such a natural. Make everything that's comes out of her is authentic and real. And it feels like somebody you'd really see in this scenario. I just wanted it to feel grounded.
Yeah, she was very much a highlight of the film.
Awesome.
And I don't know if you've seen it with a paying audience. AMC Burbank 16 playing the movie last night, packed audience, loved it, loved the film. I don't know if a lot of times because you're local, you kind of go see your own movie in a theater. Do you have plans to do that? Or
well, I'm not local. I live in Vancouver, BC.
Oh, wow. That's where they make movies in Canada, not in the US.
Well, maybe not anymore. We'll see.
Yeah,
that's why I could afford to watch the movie. That's
I know. We shot this one in Canada as well. I'm Canadian. I'm US and Canadian, dual. So my local theater, it'll be so fun to see because actually a lot of my friends here are not filmmakers. Like when you live in LA, everybody's like, oh yeah, you made a film, like whatever. I'm an actor. Let me give you my resume. But here, everybody's whoa, you made a film? Like, let's go see it. That's really cool. So we're going to all gather and go down to the local cinema, which it's playing at. And yeah, definitely check it out.
We have a ton of questions from our chat, live chat here. I don't know how much time you have, but let's try to get to as many as you can take here.
Let's get into it, man.
Let's do it. So here, the questions will pop up here from M for 2. Are clown girls your weakness? They are for me.
Oh man. You know, I didn't think they were until I saw these clown girls at our premiere. And I'll try to post some of those pictures on my Instagram account, but they are wicked and kind of like weirdly sexy at the same time. It's like something really, maybe it's because of that thing. You can't really trust them, but you're like, it's an allure at the same time. Like, I got to figure out what's behind that person's exterior. Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. My weakness.
Portland 182. Hi, Eli. Why no Tucker and Dale sequel, prequel? Yeah. I mean, could have been a franchise. I remember it was at South by Southwest. I think I covered it. I'm pretty sure I covered it there because it was the talk.
Well, let's answer this once and not make every question this, because this is what like drove me off of the internet for a while. Like, I can't. You know, it honestly is because people didn't see it in the theater, and it became. Although everybody loves the film, the producers and sort of the bean counters of Hollywood, they just want to make a lot of money, dude. And when they look at the numbers of it, it made money, but it didn't blow the doors off anything. And it was really, when I was around pitching that movie as a sequel from 2013 to like 2018, we went through several periods where we set it up. We almost got it made, but I wanted it to be bigger. I didn't want it to have like the same budget or less for the sequel. And so it would like, it would just fall apart. And so we had like 5 different versions of the film fall apart. I hate to blame more on this guy, but David Zaslav was the final like nail in the coffin when we were going to do a show on TNT that like we were scripted and all the scripted series got canceled. So I'm not saying it'll never happen. And in fact, I think this movie helps the potential for, if this movie does well, it just helps me and I can like set more stuff up. I've been pretty lucky to keep working in the business as a writer. And even while I'm not directing, have stuff in development. And Tucker and Dale 2 has been in development for a long time, but I don't want to spoil until this thing is greenlit. I'm not going to ever say, but it always is an idea in my mind to bring these guys together because I love Alan and Tyler and we're buddies. And I think we could do a great movie out of it.
Yeah, and you got a lot of love in comments here. So Raylo Normie, oh shit, I love Tucker and Dale. Alan Tudyk is awesome. And then All Twisted Up says, saw Clown in a Cornfield last night. Very fun. Only knew the title. Great surprise cast. Under 10 mil. Astounding. So that's cool.
Thank you for the props to that. I'm not supposed to talk about, well, let's not talk about budget anymore. But yes, it was a hard thing to get through.
Fade Ellis 24 says, what was behind the decision to shoot in Manitoba, Canada, and how was it working with their local crews? Did the location offer any surprise benefits or challenges to the production? I mean, it looks expensive. That parade scene and what happens during the parade scene is insane.
Well, thank you. I mean, hats off to Manitoba, to Winnipeg. My production designer was great. I mean, and the team on this, they built the giant Friendo float from scrap, right? And it was just my 2 special effects guys made that thing. We didn't go to some, big, fabrication place. They just built it. And the thing is, like, the crew was incredibly skilled. We had the A-team crew in Winnipeg, and mostly it's because they loved the script. It wasn't because anybody was getting paid a lot, and they loved Tucker and Dale, and so it did help me kind of like get the right team behind this movie. The benefits were the crew and the cornfields, and just the flat space that looks like Missouri. It's kind of a rundown area a little bit too, and we were looking for Kettle Springs to be worn down. And the problem was the weather, because it would be negative 20, degrees sometimes. And it snowed the last week of shooting, snowed 2 feet. And we had these greensmen that had to be so tough on the shoot because they were moving corn around and trying to set up things everywhere. They ended up with blowtorches to like clear out the corn and the snow in the back of a shot. And yeah, so we had to pick our shots toward the end and angle one direction to make sure there's no snow. And someday, if you watch the DVD commentary, you'll see me point out where there's snow in the background that you won't see in the movie, but it was tough.
Ryan Landis says, why are people that make horror films always so happy, Lo?
Well, I'm a happy horror filmmaker. That's true. That's particularly me.
but I think, having interviewed a lot of horror filmmakers, they just love horror. And I go to this horror convention, Monsterpalooza, every year. People love it. People in horror, whether it's makeup, writing, directing, acting, in that space, the most friendly, accepting, amazing fans. And I've always, those people who love horror. It's just happy.
Yeah, it's the thing that's astonishing. It's like these people that just love creative ways to kill people are the kindest, most accepting group of people I've ever met. And that's part of it. I mean, I have such a good time showing this film to like real fans because they're so grateful. And the other part of it is it's just fun, man. Like if you get into film, so many people start making movies with like fake blood. And, you know, I made little films with my brother when I was a teenager, and we were all like hacking each other to bits and blood flying. It feels very childish and it feels just silly sometimes. And it's very playful. And that's the part I embrace about it. And that's, I think, why a lot of horror filmmakers are so happy.
Yeah.
Does it feel cathartic making a horror film?
Well, I think it feels cathartic making any film, but on set, you're just having such a good time. And I think I made a couple little dramas when I was in film school, and I just found them so boring. Like, you know, you had like a really deep scene and you're kind of, okay, man, that was really good acting. Like, wow. But I didn't get to kill anybody. I just want to throw a teenager in a wood chipper, you know?
Yeah.
And some of the best times I've had on set is when like you have a blood cannon out and you're just shooting blood at somebody and they're like, ah! And right after you yell cut, everybody laughs and it's a fun time.
Sin's Corner, who is also reviews movies on YouTube, says one of the things I mentioned in my review was that it wasn't 100% tropey. And I like that. You definitely flip tropes, or, you know, you're aware of tropes and people's expectation and played with that. I love that.
I feel like I've just watched enough horror that it's in my bones. And then my instinct sometimes is like, oh, well, this is the trope to go along with it, but then switch that up. And part of that's, again, the part of me that's trying to have fun, but the comedic part, because comedy is a lot about reversals and setting up something to be one way and then, oh, it's something different. And a lot of times you'll just get a laugh. Like I love the parts in this movie where you get a laugh that are just visual. There's a scene where there's a horrific clown chasing and there's the kids slam a door closed and just save themselves at the last second. And then the door opens and it's like dad coming in on another, it's a cut to another scene and it always gets a laugh. And I really love visual laughs.
Let's see. Razorburn asks, what was the movie that got you into horror? And are you a fan of Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
You know what? The film that truly got me into horror and made me feel like I could be a part of that genre was Evil Dead 2. Because I really didn't discover it until college. But my buddy was super into it. And after a night of partying at Boulder, I was at University of Colorado, and it was quite a good time we had there in the 90s. And we would come back and we would just watch Evil Dead 2 for the 5th, 6th, 7th time and 10th time. And I fell in love with Ash, and I fell in love with sort of that comedy, the comedy horror take of it. And that's sort of what led me to do Tucker and Dale first, because I was like, I want to do the sort of Shaun of the Dead, Evil Dead of American backwoods, you know, horror.
Yeah.
And so I was always looking at it from like, how do I subvert the genre tropes? And this is one movie that I do embrace the genre a little bit more than my other movies, where I'm like, I'm going to be a horror film. This is a horror film first. It is a horror thriller. And I just kind of can't resist elements of comedy in it.
And let's see, Aid Ellis 24. Kevin sorry.
All right, so Killer Clowns from Outer Space. You got it. I got it. It's a riot. I mean, it is a riot. You got to get in the right zone for it, because sometimes it's very campy, but it's just so fun that I love that films like that were able to be made back then. They're so hard to make now, and we need more people making movies like that.
And by the way, there's a Killer Clowns from Outer Space officially licensed PlayStation game, or I have it for the PS5.
I am so disappointed there's not a Tucker and Dale. When we made Tucker and Dale, we were like, we're gonna have a game, and they're gonna like have power-ups with Pabst Blue Ribbon. They're gonna have to like find healing potions. It's always Pabst. We had so many ideas for it.
PBR. More questions. Kevin Durand and Will Sasso make a lot of money working the Canadian film production circuit. They were great. Love Kevin Durand. He's fantastic. And A. Ellis goes on to ask, how did you first come across Adam Cesar's 2020 novel of the same name? Was it something you came across yourself during lockdowns, or something people approached you with?
Yeah, so Temple Hill approached me with it. You might know about this since you're so connected. It was during a time when all of us had to fire our like representatives, us writers.
Right.
Writers have been through so many weird times. I was like, and so it came directly to me. And I immediately read it. It was like during the lockdowns. We had a bit of a different experience in Canada, because it was the one area of North America where our kids were still going to school during the 2020 lockdown. So that was cool. So I had time at home, like a lot of parents didn't. And I dug into Clown in a Cornfield, and I was like, man, this has to be adapted into a movie. And it doesn't exactly have my sensibility. It's a little more straightforward horror. And I just thought I'd add, with a movie with a title like Clown in a Cornfield, I needed to have some tongue-in-cheek comedy in it a bit. And I pitched that to the producers, and Marty Bowen and John Fisher at Temple Hill said, yeah, let's do your sort of version of this. And you know, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, we made this movie by selling all the foreign territories, and then taking that money and running out and making the movie, and we held on to US, and then we got a great US distributor in Shudder and IFC, and yeah, we're coming out in theaters. So you guys know, go see it.
Yes,
you're in theaters.
Yeah.
Mike G says for 5 says, yes, as an indie horror game developer, I can confirm it's my happy place. And hot take, Cornfield looks better than Terrifier. Yeah.
It's so different, you know. I don't
different.
Don't compare. I mean, they're different things. So you can love both for different reasons.
Yeah. Berg Flicka for 20. So cool to see this film come to theaters. All the dedication and bringing talent together. Awesome. And CK asks, thank you for that 20. Very generous. CK, with all the clowns in Hollywood, how did you settle on that one? Well, the clown design, I guess, is the question.
No, I think he meant the clowns in Hollywood. I get it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, a lot of clowns in Hollywood.
How did they settle on this one? Maybe is the
for sure
question. So, I mean, the book has so much specificity about who Friendo is, and that's part of what I loved about it. He's a salesman mascot that was created when they created the Bay Pen Corn Syrup Company in like the 1930s, and it kept the town alive during the Depression. And then in the 1940s and 50s, he was like this happy-go-lucky salesman mascot, like Ronald McDonald. And he got a little demented over time. So I love the part of the movie that it's kind of like the American dream, you know, and he's the salesman American dream to a prosperous America. And now he's going through a bit of hard times, and maybe the American dream has sort of melted a little bit and gotten a little more distorted.
Well, I know you got to run. I got to say congratulations to you on the movie. Alan and I both loved it. It's in theaters now, so please go see it with an audience, because I can attest They love the film. It's a great group experience. Eli, come back when you have your next movie. Love to chat with you again.
Okay, maybe Tuckerdale too someday. We'll talk about it.
Yes, and we won't ask you about it. We'll talk about it.
Yes.
All right. Congrats
Thank you, guys.
again. Take care. See you guys.
Thank you so much.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. That was awesome. That was fun.
Another banger interview from Film Threat.
It's cool. They approached me and I said, well,
do?
I was already planning on watching the movie. Let's go. Let's go. They come to Film Threat to talk to us. We appreciate it. We're going to talk about one more thing, one more movie we have to review. What could it be? Can anyone guess? That's right. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It is in theaters. It is the 50th anniversary of the movie, playing limited engagement. Alan and I both saw it. There's a little intro that you'll get to see the surviving members of Monty Python talking about 50 years of this film. It's ridiculous. This movie is the fact that they talk about in this little recorded intro that they couldn't afford horses. They had a budget to make the movie, but also they formed a company, and then they all formed a company to make the movie, then didn't pay themselves to make the movie. And the budget was so low, they couldn't afford horses. So the idea of having coconuts and hopping like they were on horses with the click clack is totally very Monty Python. And I grew up watching Monty Python, the show, on PBS, and they would show this movie late night. I think I have the whole movie memorized, and seeing it again in an audience, I've never seen it in a theater, actually.
Yeah, I've never seen it either. I'll say that my brother bought the script to Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I would take that script to school, high school, and then me and my friends, we would just reenact or read through the script, our favorite scenes. I mean, that's how much we were all into it. Monty Python in the 80s was massive, and everyone knew who it was, and everyone loved this movie.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can't. It's very British humor. You can't explain Monty Python to people who are not fans.
Yeah,
I
took my daughter to this. You'd be surprised what.
Did she like it? Because I wonder if it translates now.
Yeah, I'll tell you that I was kind of worried because when I was watching her watch the movie, she had kind of this bored look on her face. But ultimately she liked it. I think she was kind of curious why everyone loved it so much. Am I right? And then what annoyed her the most was the theater we saw it in. Some people brought in coconuts, and then everyone was reciting lines during the movie, and that just kind of ruined the experience for her.
I could have recited it. I'm sitting here going, "Oh, I watched this movie probably 50 times as a kid, and it just burned into my memory." And it's also just, we need more comedies like this. Are we just gonna re-release Blazing Saddles and Monty Python and not make new comedies? I know Naked Gun is coming up, but I'm a little worried about that movie now because I'm told it's PG-13. So I would have preferred for it to be R. With the Liam Neeson
originals were
Gun.
R or not.
Yeah, but anyways, look, it's weird. I think the box office is going to see more and more of retro movies doing well at the box office. We talked about at CinemaCon that Fathom Entertainment now that releases these, they're getting more and more, like their business doubled in 2024. It's a testament to people want to go to the movies. They just don't want to see necessarily the movies that are new, right?
Yeah. Again, just like you, I've never seen this movie in a theater. And to see it finally on something larger than my television was an experience.
And I learned that Spam-A-Lot, Monty Python's Spam-A-Lot, is coming, the stage play is coming to the Pantages in Hollywood.
Yeah.
We should go.
Yeah. I believe it's also coming to Orange County as well.
I'll go see it in Orange County where it's cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot cheaper.
Okay. Yeah. My daughter wants to see Spam-A-Lot.
Spam-A-Lot. Let's get tickets. Let's get tickets.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if you have not seen this movie ever, see it in a theater for the first time, I was the theater I saw it in. I saw it on Sunday. It was packed, and everyone. It was like if there's such a thing as Monty Python nerds. There were Monty Python nerds in the theater. I mean, I heard people just giggle. It's just, but seeing it on the big screen, I tend to focus on details that if I see a movie I've seen a lot, I'll look at the extras and look at their acting and look at that. It's like my favorite is the guy that's being put on the cart. He's not.
Oh yeah.
I'm feeling better.
Oh no,
I feel happy.
Our theater was reciting it's the Michael Palin line about the class warfare and the oppression of the.
That was the best. It's like
I'm being oppressed by the talk.
Yes, and it's like I didn't vote for you, King. It's like the whole thing of pushing back and that whole like academia conversation about capitalism and communism and it's ridiculous. Because
some watery tart threw a scimitar at you.
Yes, watery tart. It's like, oh my God. I mean, those parts alone are amazing. It's like it's Monty Python. The reason the humor really like works for me, it's incredibly smart humor, but also mixed with ridiculous, like physical and silly comedy. Yeah, so I love it.
A spanking.
Yes, a spanking. And then the oral sex. Like, yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, you go, Monty Python. Let's go to comments here.
Be More Better. I adore this movie. Yes, I do.
Yes,
too.
Who doesn't?
Lord Thoth, I just got the last Monty Python and the Holy Grail Kickstarter board game last week. Looks awesome.
Awesome.
Joe Chapman, go to Dune Castle, everyone, where they filmed the coconut scenes. I'll come over to Scotland, and you can come stay with me.
Really? So that castle you can go visit. That's awesome.
Okay, thumbs up 1981. Did anyone have the soundtrack? It's so damn funny.
I did not, but I remember it brought me back. Watching it brought me back to like my childhood, which was riding my bike, staying out until the sun went down, recording farts into a Sears tape recorder and playing it back and us laughing and listening to comedy albums. Like that whole era of my childhood was
and
like
now for something completely different.
Now everyone just looks at their fucking phones.
Yeah. You know what's funny? At the end of Monty Python, I hate to spoil it, but it's just this extended organ sequence where it's a black screen and they're playing the organ that organ music at the end and for at least 5 minutes. And I remember starting to get up from my seat and looking around, and nobody in the theater was getting up. I'm like,
that's great.
I'm like, is something happening? And so I sat down, and my daughter and I just sat through the organ music.
Hey, that's it for us. Film Threat will be back on Monday. Want to thank our mod, Lord Thoth, Atomic Glory, Ganuccio, everyone who sent in a super chat, everyone who's watching in the conversation. I check on the live chat. I see what you're doing. I love it. Like the nerd far away says, Chris and I should have been neighbors. I was obsessed with trying to record a fart, and now I'm laughing hysterically. No, I recorded a fart. I didn't try to. We did that. When I was a kid, and we would record prank phone calls. We were definitely like boys who did boy things and got into trouble. So yeah, thanks, Nerd Far Away. And a final super chat here. Krog based 50 Swedish krona. 5 years ago, rewatched Grail, understood everything said by class warfare peasant. I was like, holy shit, I actually understand this now. I'm so smart. That's great, Krog based. Appreciate that. So thank you. We'll be back Monday with Versus. We'll talk second weekend for Thunderbolts. Going to be big. And then we'll also discuss just everything. We have a lot of things to discuss. So Alan, anything coming up this weekend?
I'll be at the National Comedy Theater tomorrow at 7:30 in San Diego. So if you got some time and want to see some good old improv, come on down to nationalcomedy.com.
And tonight I am seeing a early screening of Final Destination with the cast. I'm going to film the Q&A. I'm also going to the Barkley restaurant in South Pasadena There's a band I really love called Jetpack. I'm going to see the band, no cover charge. The Barclay, South Pasadena.
Yeah.
You
And
should
Monday,
go, Alan.
we are seeing Mission Impossible on Monday.
Is it? Did you check?
Yeah, it's the 12th, which is Monday.
Okay. We're seeing, I don't know when we can talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know when we can talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
But but hey, so the Barclay is this it's an old restaurant in South Pasadena, and it's like frozen in time. They don't accept credit cards. It's cash only. It's like a bar frozen in the 1940s. And I'm going to see this band, Jetpack. It's rockabilly surf punk band. It's tonight, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. I'll be there. So check that out. And then I'm going to the Rose Bowl swap meet. I got a busy weekend, folks. And it's going to be in the 90s. Now I got the air conditioning on. So.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the Mission Impossible embargo is lifted at the start of Hollywood on the Rocks.
We might move things around. We'll see about that.
Well, I mean, Hollywood on the Rocks. We don't need to move it. We could talk about it.
We'll talk about it. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks so much. We will see you. We'll be doing our live streams next week. Alan?
Let's get out of here.